Hi, Danny. How you doing? Okay. Um, this is a home run. This is fantastic. I think this is just fantastic. This is solid. This is tight. Nice work. If I have anything to say about the front of the poster, I think that just the kerning between the I and the S is just a little tight. Other than that, this is such a fantastic idea. This is a home run, Tony. This is a home run, Danny. This is fantastic. The front of the poster is just stellar. Really nice job. I think that works out great, turning that fist white so that when you zoom out, or presumably looking at the piece from a distance as a poster will be looked at, it doesn't fall apart. It's still perfectly legible as an O for Tony. Love the way you have that little fist almost doing the overshoot. Just otherwise it would look too small. So that's great. I think it's better without the ball and chain, right? I think it just, I mean, we get it. We totally get it. We don't have to overkill it with adding a ball. And I just think the minimalism here speaks volumes to the concept. So that's fantastic. Really good job on your subhead, your tagline. And this relationship is beautiful. The sans serif with the serif, sans serif tagline with the serif headline. Fantastic. Love the colors. The white is just gorgeous against that beautiful blue background. Lovely work. Okay, let's jump to the back. Now on the back of the poster, I want to go to the PDF because I want to be able to zoom in here a little bit. So what you have here in the body copy, I think, is good. Okay, body copy looks good. We got some problems with the rags. We also have some problems with alignment right up here. Now, there's two ways to align. If you can't get these to align, or if you don't want them to, it's perfectly acceptable to align just the top. That's called clotheslining. When the two this would be an alignment with the first line. So the first line of the second column of text is in line an alignment with the first line of the first column of text, right? And the other way is to align them like this, and this is called skyscraping. Either is acceptable. In this particular case, I would prefer that you were to clothesline these. And I just think that it would get rid of that little unsightly kind of little hiccup right there. That's negative space. And it's okay down here. I think it'll be fine. If in a perfect world, I think if you've got these all in alignment, which might possibly happen when you adjust your regs. I want to talk about that next. But before we do, let's go ahead and jump in or take a closer look at your type. Okay, so try old style numerals. See if your font has old style numerals. Those will be in the open type menu. Just Google accessing old style numerals in whatever typeface that is. I'm not sure what typeface it is, but right now I think that if we zoom out here, I think your typographic color is a little bit dark. And the reason I say that is because you got some great leading here, but the kerning, I should say the tracking is a little bit tight. Whenever you reverse your type, meaning white type on a color background, you want to increase your tracking, especially if you're using a serif typeface. So old style numerals, increase your tracking. Trying to see, okay, Cornell, Howard, Cornell, Academic, Texas Southern, 89, again, old style and all your numbers, looking good here. Editor for Random House. Oops, okay, looking good. That could be technically considered to be a widow. So I would get at least another word in there, prize or Pulitzer Prize, or somehow when you readjust your regs, you want at least three. I think at least 3 words or sets of characters in your last line. Definitely not 1, 2. That's pretty short. I'd say 3. So if it says prize in 1998 or Pulitzer Prize in 1988, that would be great. Okay, at the end here, among her greatest works, see the bluest, these are titles. Those should be in italics. Okay, the bluest eye, Song of Solomon, and would not be in italics, and beloved would be in italics. Okay, and you can set your punctuation in italic as well. So if you say the bluest eye, you can include that comma in your italic. Okay, timeline, I've got a little bit of an issue with the timeline, and my only problem here is that this. In that timeline, technically, okay, so right now you're asking your viewer to start down here and read up, and that's uncomfortable. Why? Because we are accustomed to starting at the top of the page and reading down. I would say if you just flip these over, flip that 1931 over, so it reads this way, so the baseline is over here on this side. Okay, so basically what you would be doing is rotating it clockwise instead of counterclockwise. The same thing with the type. You want the type to start up here so we're reading down. Okay. I think it's difficult to read these the way they are. Also, you've got this right aligned, so when you flip it over, you would have these left aligned. So you would set it left aligned and then rotate it counterclockwise. Okay, let me zoom out here a little bit. I've got a couple more comments. I don't think this is working for your timeline, the Toni Morrison. I don't think it's working for your timeline because we already have it on the front, right? And it's actually set in a different typeface, or it's in all caps. So, I mean, you can include Toni Morrison, but I wouldn't use this kind of hierarchy for the title. Basically, I think what I would do is this, and this is just food for thought. We take over to the front. Okay, what can we use in the front for our timeline? Okay, and I'm saying the chain itself. Okay, so what we can do is this: is you have Toni Morrison. Let's move that. Okay, and let's take this whole typographic composition and get it centered. Now, you know how I feel about center alignment. I'm not usually for it, but in this case, I think it's going to work. We get that centered. Then we take your Toni Morrison, okay, and just place it either above here or above here, or maybe just right over here, something like that. Okay, get that centered. That's going to open up this area right here for the timeline. What I want to do is I want you to think about this. I think this would be perfect. You take the chain, just the chain, right? And go like this, kind of serpentine it like this. Let me show you what I mean. I got Illustrator open right here, so let me just come over to Illustrator. I'm going to grab a pen. So you take the chain, right? And you just do this at the bottom of the, something like that, some kind of serpentine. Okay, then you can take your markers. So there's the first, and then you can even add the text like this. Okay, then the next year in the timeline, add your text. Not in boxes, but just, you see what I'm saying? There's your next. Your next. Do you see what I'm saying? And I think that's going to do two things. Number one, I think it's going to make it a lot easier to read the timeline. Number two, it's going to draw this concept through to the back of the poster, which is going to create wonderful continuity, wonderful hierarchy. Okay? Other than that, I think you're doing fantastic. Typography looks good. Want to talk about rags, though. The rags definitely need to be adjusted. Rags are not good. And so brush up on rags, optimal typographic rags. You can do a search on that, but basically what you want is this. Okay, these are bad rags, right? Big differences here, and you get, which causes like these wavy patterns, right? So you get this kind of wavy pattern here. So this is a good rag. Long, short, long, short, long, short, long, short, fluctuating like that. So that there's nobody even notices. Okay, but you don't want these big gaps like this. Okay, these big gaps like that right there, that right there. The difference between the longest and shortest line is too great. Plus, you definitely don't want these waves. See that wave right there? Whoop, like that. Okay, this wave right here. Whoop. Don't want those at all. So definitely want to adjust your rags to look more like that than like that. Okay, great job. Love this. So good. All right, fantastic. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, you know the drill. I'm right here. Thanks, Danny. Good work.